Então, de novo, gente, muito barulho, por favor, pro elenco de 13 Reasons Why. I guess you might have heard about the success you're doing here in Brazil.
Why are we here?
Oh, yes! People love the show here. Have you guys been getting a lot of attention on social media from us? We're very loud.
Yeah. It's insane. It's insane.
And tell me a little bit more about how you prepared for the show, because it's an intense show. How was it for you did you read the book? Did you only read the script? Did you talk to Jay Asher? How was that for each and every one of you?
I think, so it starts with the book, right? Because we have a wonderful novel that's supposed to start from. But then we were lucky, the team that we have involved in the process, the producers, Brian Rookie, Tom McCarthy, they're all incredibly creative, talented people. So the process was very much, I don't know about these guys, but my character in the book is not as prevalent. So I spent a lot of time talking to Brian and Tom, trying to figure out who this guy is as we were filming. So I was in process the entire time.
Yeah, I think the book has a lot of the heart of the story, and I think it was important to read it, but I only read it once and kind of let it go. And I mean, Jay Asher was always there to talk about it, but I think Jay Asher had a lot of positive excitement in terms of the show and in terms of the book becoming a Netflix series, because his relationship with Brian York, the writer of the Netflix series, and one of the producers, was very collaborative and very loving. And Brian saw all the potential for the characters to crack open. And really what happens in the show is that Hannah has her 13 reasons why, but then you find out all these people also have 13 reasons why they are the way they are, or they do the things they do, which I think is so important because it allowed me to view each character in light instead of in a negative way, and allowed me not to judge any of the characters. And I thought that was very important to jumpstart the process and figuring out who these people are and the world that they live in and what happens in the story.
I read the book when I was in middle school, so my first impression of the story had already resonated with me. Like, it really touched me. So when I got the call for the audition, I was more than excited to do it. And when we started the creative process of it, it was more interesting because Jessica doesn't have that big of a role because the book is more formatted between Hannah and Clay. So I was so excited to explore Jessica's side of the story and see her kind of go through this experience of the negative sides and the positive sides and her struggles. It was really interesting to talk to Brian York and develop that with Brandon and Justin and Jessica.
I just want to say this guy over here in the Sailor Moon outfit.
Yes! Sailor Moon!
You're gonna see a lot of that on the show floor today.
I wish I could dress up.
I have a question from Cine Mania. Where are you? There he is. We haven't heard anything about a season 2 yet, but if we had a season 2, have you thought anything about it? Like, how would it be? Would it be centered around Clay or someone else?
I want a Stranger Things crossover.
Yes! Immediately!
I think Tony and Clay show up in the Mustang to save 11.
We're in the car too, right?
You guys are definitely in the car.
Thank you. I just want to be a part of it.
You save Barb from the...
Yes!
Right? Yeah.
Jeff Atkins deserved better!
Jeff is in the upside down.
Yes!
Find him there.
I have a question for you from Jackie? There she is. How was it to play the part of Jessica?
It was really interesting. I really enjoyed the flashback series because I got to explore the best sides of her when she was innocent. And then as an actor, it was so amazing to go into work and then do the flashback and then having to explore the darkest side of her where she has this thing inside of her that she hasn't fully realized yet. Yeah, it was a fully
And a question from Ramon, Central HQs. There he is. Reading the script, what was the level of representativity that the show brought to you? And do you think that it was the same for the fans?
The representation of?
Yes.
Yeah, this was the first show where, I mean, as a Black actress, I usually have to play Black parts or something like that, but the show didn't even think about that. They just picked the right actors for the right roles, and that's just being in high school, or being a human being for that matter. So they didn't think about ethnicity at all, and they just picked the best actors for the roles.
Yeah, I think, it wasn't so long ago that I was in high school, but when I read the scripts, it felt like, oh my God, this is actually what people go through. It represented that experience very honestly and really delve in, because when you're young, it's very easy to make rash decisions, and to make decisions, which I've learned growing up, that maybe decisions aren't the best thing to make, and you have to kind of lead with your heart, and young people tend to lead with something else, and it sometimes gets you in a damaging position. And I thought the show spoke a lot on that, spoke truthfully on that.
I think, so as a Latino in New York, I auditioned for a bunch of roles where I was, it's not who I am, but it's like the gangbanger or the drug dealer and things like that. And so I am incredibly grateful that I got to play a multifaceted, multidimensional character. He's Latino, but he's not defined by his heritage, he's not defined by his sexuality. He's a human being in the 21st century, like all you guys. And we're all so different and diverse, and I think our show does an incredible job of representing what it is to be alive right now in the 21st century.
Lais from The Walking Dead. Do you believe that teenagers can learn from the attitudes of the characters of the series and change their behaviors and the bullies' behaviors?
So I just found out that teachers are actually showing our TV show in school, which I think is highly effective because it makes kids more self-aware and makes kids understand what little things they can do can hurt someone because you don't know what's going on in their life. And I feel like that's the big message of the show, and I'm just so grateful that teachers are seeing that and actually, sharing that.
How about for you guys?
I mean, the fact that we're here is proof that it's working, right? I mean, all of you guys have watched the show. Thank you, And I think that it's opening, what we wanted to do when we did the show was open up a dialogue, and it's happened. People are talking, and the social media outreach has been incredible. We've seen people say, I had one person message me and they said that the people in their classes have stopped bullying her because they watched the show. And I thought, how lucky and grateful we all are to be a part of something that impacted them.
Yeah, I think the show really speaks loudly on the idea of one thing affecting so much more than you thought it could. And, I see a lot of these little memes of like Hannah where it says like, Mom, can we go to McDonald's? And Mom says no, and Hannah says, welcome to the tapes. But, when you think about the little things in the story that maybe are like, why is Hannah reacting this way to it? And then you watch the whole show, you're like, oh man, no one would have thought she was that way. No one would have done those things in the future if those little things didn't become so apparent at the beginning. And I think it really explores microaggression, which is something that can lead to a much more detrimental thing down the road.
And the show does portray a lot of different ways of life and families, and like Jessica's father's character is a very strict man, and your character has like a very wild home life, and you have a very centered family around your character. Do you think that people really reacted to it because they saw themselves represented on screen that way, like seeing their families on screen?
Yeah, I think people come from all walks of life, and everyone has their own individual story. And when you see that represented in entertainment and TV, even if it's not your story, you register something, you go, I mean, with Justin in particular, I'm amazed at the response, because when I first saw his character, I was like, man, this guy, he's hard to love. And then you see what happens to him, and you kind of get a feeling, okay, I can see where he comes from. And hopefully when, you know, people deal with stuff like Justin was dealing at home with abuse and, you know, addiction, they can walk away saying, I don't have to be a product of how I was raised. I can be a human being that I want to be. And I think the show shows characters who didn't make their own choices, who let other people decide for them. And hopefully people walk away saying, I can make a choice, I can be kind today, I can follow what I want to do with my heart versus what I want in terms of popularity or being liked and being loved. Just lead with love and it'll come back. Absolutely.
There's this quote that I love that I think it was Stanislavski who said, it's the artist's job to hold a mirror up to society and say, this is who you are. And I think that when I go to the movies that I love and the TV shows that I love, it's because I can see a character and go, I've been there, I know what that is like. And we have in our show, I mean, it amazes me, there's something for everyone, you know, there's something for every person out there. So, yeah, I'm incredibly grateful.
Did you guys imagine that the show would be so successful while you were making it? Who has the... Quem perguntou isso? Here he is.
I knew that it would have a following because it has a very important message, but I didn't think it would be at this scale so fast. It's truly amazing, but I feel like it is justified because it is such an important story and because of the representation, everyone can identify with it worldwide. So.
How about you guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I think working on it, it definitely felt, you know, like a bit of magic was happening when we were filming and stuff and talking about the story and the way everyone was talking about it. It wasn't like, so this guy's pretty and this girl's pretty, so they're being pretty together. It was like, what's happening at the crux of the moment? And like, we just were exploring it so truthfully and honestly. And that to me, as an actor, was so fulfilling that it was my hope that it would be fulfilling for people to watch. And I'm very, very happy that everyone kind of loves it and is learning from it.
I also got to say, there's two people who aren't here that I owe a lot to. Catherine and Dylan, right? When I saw those two do a scene together for the first time, in the back of my head, I knew that we had something special. Because they're incredible, and their performances are rooted and heartbreaking and charming. So when I saw those two step on the set, I knew we had something special.
And how was it to deal with such delicate themes on the show? Did you have specialists on set with you, like psychologists to guide you through it and show you the way?
Yeah, we worked a lot with the JED Foundation, which is a foundation and a hotline that stands up for suicide and people who are dealing with suicidal thoughts and self-harm as well as addiction. And they were very, very informative. And Dr. Who was also on board, and she works with suicidal teens and studies the psychology of it. And we were really well informed and told flat out from the beginning that the way the story was being told was very representative of many of her cases. And that to me hit home because it's good to be honest and it's good to be real, because then people walk away feeling like they understand it and that they've seen it or that they felt it, and they can grow more from it versus it just being a show to be excited about, which I think we managed to find a perfect balance between both.
It was really important for me and Brandon and Justin, who plays Bryce, and Brian Yorkie, the showrunner, that we had the proper material and the right people to talk to so we can depict this scenario in the right way so people can feel validated. And I've gotten a surplus of people just messaging me, telling me, thanking me at the show, because they do feel validated and now they do feel comfortable to reach out to someone that they love or reach out to me so I can talk to them. And I feel really, really grateful that we were able to show it in the right way.
I unfortunately have to wrap it up with you guys. This is tough. It's a tough phrase. They want to take up some pictures of you. Could you guys just line up here at the front?
I live for you!